Hi, and welcome back. So, here is another guitar practice vlog, or my opinions on guitar practice, if you like. Not a rigid how to guide necessarily, because everyone has a slightly different approach to this. But today we're going to be talking about learning songs. So I'm obviously a huge advocate for learning whole songs on guitar, including the solos. Um, I think that this is the the main way that you're going to develop in every single area as a musician, as opposed to just practicing, guitar exercises. Um, the songs are king. Learning the songs is gonna help you in so many ways other than just being a guitar player. Think of yourself as a musician. Um, but anyway, this isn't a lecture, if you like, on how and why you should learn songs. Let's just take that as given. And I'm sure that the majority of people that get into guitar do it because they want to learn songs. A lot of hobbyists, um, right through to pros, are learning songs and have increasing their repertoire, expanding their repertoire of songs. So let's assume that you want to learn songs, you want to build a repertoire of songs. And let's also assume that you like the song that you're learning, um, because that's huge. We don't want to necessarily learn a song because someone has prescribed it to you, just because someone's told you, oh, you should learn this song. That's not a compelling enough and powerful enough reason to learn a song. You should play music that excites you. If you're into it, if you're into that song, you're into that style of music, you will ultimately make way more progress, and you're going to enjoy that process more. So that's the first thing. Don't just learn a song because someone says, "Oh, you should learn this song," or like whether it's a teacher or a YouTuber or like whoever. Like if you're really into it, finding the motivation to practice and learn that song won't be an issue. It won't be an issue. Um, the other concept we're going to talk about is the idea of music being a language that you're learning, in much the same way that you learned to speak as a child and you adopted your native language. Um, you should learn to do that. Should you should learn to do that when you play an instrument, when you're learning an instrument and you're learning songs. Imitation is key. That's kind of how we learn to speak. That's how we learn phrasing. That's how we learn language. It's by imitation primarily when we're young, um, and having it be fun as well. I'm not saying everything you practice will be fun, but the songs that you are going to invest time into learning should be fun, and they should be challenging. I would say enough to level up your playing. Don't just have songs in the easy category, let's call them, or more straightforward, and just um, focus on those. Ideally, work on songs that are really easy, straightforward to play. Work on songs that are challenging, and they're going to take you a bit longer to really nail them. And then you should have some long term goals as well. You should have some like um, songs in a genre such as jazz, or like progressive stuff, or whatever. Something that you can really aspire to. If your favorite guitar player is I don't know, Slash, for example, You might be like, I really want to nail that solo in like Sweet Child of Mine or November Rain or something like, but you're just starting out, then that's a longer term goal. Um, so there we go. That's the first thing. Choose the right songs for you. Um, and I am going off on a slight tangent here, but when you're learning songs and you are trying to, make it sound as authentic as possible, remember it doesn't have to be a carbon copy necessarily. I encourage all my students to put a little bit of themselves into it as well, and inject their own kind of creativity and make it theirs as well. And there's nothing wrong with learning it exactly how it is on the recording. That's cool, but I still encourage people to put a little bit of themselves into the song overall. So let's look at how most people go about learning tunes on guitar. So first one is like Ultimate Guitar or other tab sites which are available, such as Songster. Um, and those are kind of interactive tabs. So there's that. Obviously, YouTube is a huge resource for lessons and song lessons. Um, so most guitarists, I would say, use a mixture of those kind of things, or Guitar Pro, um, downloading the Guitar Pro files, obviously working with a decent teacher. That helps. Um, so what these are doing are helping you um, learn a song and telling you where to put your fingers to play the song to make the sound to play the song. But what I think is more important is developing the skill to learn songs for yourself efficiently, accurately, training your ear. So first tip, if you like, first step, I would say, this is how applies to myself learning songs and for my students. So quick bit of personal background history for you if you're at all interested in my career as a musician, if you like. I've learned a lot of songs. I've learned a ton of songs. I've learned more songs than, I've forgotten more songs than most people have learned. So I've been in cover bands, I've been in tribute bands, I've been in quite a few original bands. And what I've always taken pride in is the fact that I can learn songs very quickly. So I'm really good at listening. I'm really good at listening to the song and absorbing it. So that is a skill that we can all learn, is to be better listeners, just in life in general. But how do you expect to play a song or learn a song if you really, really don't know how it sounds? If you really, really haven't absorbed the structure of the song, the form of the song, if you really, really haven't nailed the changes and the transitions, if you really don't know your harmony, if you don't know chords, if you don't know your guitar well enough to begin with, that's a whole other subject. But um, you should at least know that when you put your fingers there, it's going to make that sound, and it's going to sound like the song. So the song itself, I absorb it. I listen to songs over and over and over again in the car, at the gym, like just on repeat. One song or a set list of songs, if I've been given a set to learn, I will just absorb it. I'll listen to it just as background music. I'll sit and actively listen to it and just try and nail the nuances, if you like. I'll pay really close attention to everything in the song. The better you know the song in your head, the easier it will be to translate that onto the fretboard. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. The better you know the song in your head and in your ears, the easier it will be to play it. You cannot listen to a song too much. You might think you can, but trust me. The other thing when it comes to tabs and stuff is to cross check them, because there's these, especially user submitted tabs, they're not accurate. There are some, quite frankly, dog shit tabs out there for songs. I'm just look at, and I'm absolutely perplexed at how someone can write a tab and think, oh yeah, that sounds right. Um, so check multiple sources. Don't just go with the first tab you see. You know, it's even these interactive ones on certain websites aren't correct. They just aren't. You've got to be able to listen to them and say that does not sound like the song. But what's happening now is even they're using the audio from the song and then playing the tab, but the tab is still wrong. So what's a better way to do that? Go to the source. Go to the source if you can. Don't just go to your favorite um, website or YouTube guitar teacher, although they can be very good as well. Um, but don't just trust them. Go to the source. If you want to learn how to play a certain song or a lick or whatever, there's so many resources out there. You can find isolated tracks on YouTube. You can find like interviews or like live videos um, of the guitar player playing it. And there's almost like they are showing you exactly how to play it without distractions. Um, so definitely invest your time into researching source material. Like, can you find um, the guitar player playing it? Can you find a really decent transcription? There are some great transcribers out there, by the way, um, that are so accurate. Obviously, Levi Clay is one of them. He springs to mind. Like his ear is absolutely amazing, and it's like total 100% accuracy. And then there's people that aren't as good at as transcribing, like me. I wouldn't always trust something that I've transcribed. um, I can get it most of the way there, and then there's some people that just is just rubbish. So have multiple sources for your tab needs, but ultimately it's going to come down to trusting your ear. So let's say now you found a good version of the tab and the song. You want to really slow it down. So if you're using software, if you're using Songster or like Guitar Pro or something, use the speed control. Like slow it right down. Like loop the section that you're working on over and just play over and over and over again. Um, Play it in isolation. Play it in context as well. Don't be in a rush to move on through the song, and don't be in a rush to speed up the section of the song. And then once you can play that isolated chunk, practice the transitions. So I call it the sandwich. So you've got the section of the song that you're working on, practice the transition from the section before and the section after. So you're going from the section before going into the section that you're actively practicing, and then play a little bit of the section afterwards. So yeah, you're sandwiching the thing that you're practicing. So some players like this kind of big picture approach where they kind of like want to play the whole song, and they kind of jump in and jam along as they go. And I do that myself sometimes. So sometimes I just want the big picture. So let's just say I'm learning a song, whether it's like a cover or perhaps it's like a song that I've got to learn for a band that I'm going to be playing with, filling in or whatever. I will just I kind of pencil it in. I kind of just get the big picture. So I just kind of like play along with it. But I don't kid myself into the I'm practicing the song. I'm just kind of feeling it out, for want of a better term. Kind of just taking this approach of like figuring it out as I go. And then I'll sit down and do the more kind of analytical approach to it. So I'm using both. So I encourage you to do the same. Have a big picture approach, um, but also have that analytical approach. And if you're more sort of theory minded, then okay, what key are we in? What's the most logical um, answer to what chord's going to come next? What's the biggest likelihood that this is in the key of this? What scale um, and chords are being used? Um, how is he playing that note? Is it a slide or is that a bend? Look at the technique. So, and the tuning as well. That's another one. But make sure that the tuning, well, that you're in tune, but also that the tuning is correct for the song. So if are they in drop D or are they in like C standard, E flat, whatever. Like make sure that you get those details down as well. But ultimately, use both methods. Use this kind of method of getting a big picture where you can kind of zoom out from the whole song and then zoom in and get analytical as well. Um, so I would say once you've learned all the sections of the song, next goal is obviously trying to put it together piece by piece. So you're practicing each section kind of in isolation, and then you focus on the transitions. So like the sandwiching thing, as I said before, and piece it all together. So can you piece it all the song together? And now I'm not talking about doing all this in one go. Obviously, have breaks. This could be taking place over for weekdays or weeks or months or whatever. Or if you're doing it for a gig, you might only have days or hours to learn this song. So, but you still need to take breaks because your brain needs time to absorb and retain what it's learned. And the only way that you're going to do that is by um, giving yourself some breaks, giving yourself some headspace. Slow down as well. Make sure you can play the song, um, perhaps unaccompanied as well at a slower tempo, or just to a click or something a little bit slower. Um, so yeah, those are some of the tips that I would give for anyone who is getting back into guitar and finally wants a method of learning songs that will work as well. So, any questions, comments, abuse, chuck it at me in the comment section or send me a message. And you can also find me over at www.jimmykaneguitar.com if you're interested in coaching or lessons, or you just want to chat about anything guitar and guitar practice related. Take care, and I'll see you soon.